In today's video, I want to talk about 3 different black dial divers, one from Germany, one from Japan, and one from Switzerland. We're looking at the Tudor Black Bay 58 versus the Sinn U50 versus the Seiko Marine Master 300. Now, this is in response to a viewer email I got from Lance, who is in the midst of consolidating and upgrading his personal watch collection, and he's shopping for a black dial diver between the $3,000 and the $4,000 price segment, and he's looking at these 3. Now, fortunately, I have experience with each of these releases, albeit in some different color configurations. I'm going to drop pictures, macro shots, wrist rolls, loom shots, various clips of each of these models, and just share my personal experience, my opinions on what Lance should do here with his upcoming purchase. Now, I'd like to hear your opinion in the comment section, your experiences, because I think that can be very handy, very helpful as one watch enthusiast is doing his homework and really trying to make the best decision for himself. Lance has a 7-inch wrist, and this is his main concern. Quote, "My main struggle is people seem to really love the Tudor, but is it worth $1,000 more than the Seiko or the Sinn? I guess I'm a little bit skeptical of the Tudor hype." And I applaud that, Lance. I think it's easy to overhype a new release, get on that bandwagon, get a little bit tribal with our opinions. In fact, we can get a little bit nasty arguing over what is a better value, what is a better watch, is something worth it, what should you do with your watch collection. We can get a little bit nasty, I think, but at the end of the day, man, these are watches. They're luxury items. Sure, they're fun, but it's not like, I don't know, we'll leave it there. That's maybe a topic for another video. Let's talk about these 3 models. We'll start with the Sinn. The Sinn U50 in full tegumented steel on a bracelet is $3,010. It is the most affordable of the 3. And if you opt for a non-tegumented version on a bracelet, you're going to save roughly $500. But I think the $500 is well spent to get that scratch resistance of the tegumenting process. It really helps, the Sinn feel like a true tool watch with that German submarine steel, the Lego block markers and hands on the dial. It's really a lovely design. It's thin and it's trim and it's comfortable to a degree that the U1 just isn't, being larger and thicker. The U50, they call it a mid-size watch, but really I think this should be the main size. It works on almost any wrist type. And the movement within the watch is a Sellita SW300, which is a version of the 2892A2. Thin, reliable, easy to service, 42-hour power reserve, which really, if I'm being objective here, that's not the best. It will be the lowest of the 3 watches that we're considering today. And if we're looking at negative aspects, I've found through personal experience that the flat sapphire crystal on this watch, it has a hardened anti-reflective layer on the top of the crystal. And it doesn't attract scratches like you would expect, but it attracts smudge and fingerprints, water stains. It becomes a little bit distracting, and it becomes a little bit of a chore to, throughout the day, take out a microfiber cloth and clean off that crystal. It has pretty good bezel action. It has a pretty good bracelet and clasp, not industry leading. The loom is not industry leading, but overall it's an extremely capable, solid watch. And here's my concern that I think you should just consider, Lance. It's a very utilitarian, industrial, almost militaristic tool watch. And it almost comes across as a little brutal over time. If you're wearing this every day, which I assume you're going to be doing if you're getting rid of a majority of your collection and upgrading toward a more expensive piece, I think if you don't have something with pop and polish and finesse and some beauty, some brushwork, 5 months down the line, you're going to go, I don't want to wear my Sinn today. I'm craving something more shiny, more beautiful, less industrial and less toolish. So that's something to consider after you get out of the honeymoon phase and you're in the long haul. So just be aware of that. Now let's talk about the Seiko Marine Master 300. This is a model that I have a lot of experience with. I have a love for. I've bought 5 of them over the years, but I just can't seem to keep them. I buy them because I love them, And then some months later, they always seem to get flipped for something else because I think they have the best finish work out of the three that we're talking about. Obviously, the best loom. We have a Grand Seiko based caliber, very well finished, very well dialed in. It's a lovely individualistic design. I absolutely adore it, but you know, it's a very tall watch. It becomes a little cumbersome to wear day after day. It becomes a little bit top heavy. The links start looking abnormally long, and then that bulky clasp feels too thick some days, and the dial starts looking like it's a mile down. It's a porthole look. You know, from the top of that ceramic bezel insert to the bottom or the elevation of the dial, it ends up just looking very tall, very chunky, although very beautiful. So I can't seem to keep it. I want it. I love it. And then after, you know, some months of wear, I go, I don't know if I want to wear this anymore because it's almost a chore to wear, even though the finish work is incredible. You know, it doesn't look out of place next to a Grand Seiko. In fact, it's made next to Grand Seiko in Japan. It really is a lovely watch, but I don't know that you would be happy with it, Lance, over the long haul with 7-inch wrists. I think you could do it, but again, it might become a little bit fatiguing, just like the Sinn would, albeit for a different reason, you know, being tall, being heavy, and being hefty. The Sinn doesn't have that, you know, it's very thin, very trim, but very brutal, I guess, over time. Now that brings us to the Tudor Black Bay 58. And I know, Lance, you're kind of concerned about the hype. And I mean, it certainly is a hyped watch. It's difficult to come by at retail price. You know, authorized dealers have lists of preferred clients that they like to sell to before offering it to, you know, walk-ins or other people interested in this watch. And so it can be very difficult. And that is off-putting for a lot of watch enthusiasts. But objectively, looking at the watch, it's very well finished, very comfortable, excellent, thin and trim, very similar to the Sinn U50, but it's not brutal with the matte finish. It has that really nice polished beveled edge, the circular brush to the top of the lugs, the stepped, you know, bracelet, the oyster style bracelet, aluminum bezel insert, matte textured dial, dome dial, snowflake hands, bubble crystal. And know, if you like retro designs, this one is right up your alley. At retail price, it's $600 more than a Marine Master 300. So the price of the Tudor is $3,700, and you're not going to be able to get a discount. In fact, again, like I mentioned, you'll be fortunate to find one at retail price. We have an in-house movement, a manufacturer Tudor movement 5402, made by Tudor's movement arm called Kinesi. And this will have 70 hours of power reserve. This will be specifically anti-magnetic with that silicone hairspring. And it does have the nicety of having a free sprung balance and having the variable inertia regulating system for the balance. So technically speaking, it's the most sophisticated movement with the longest power reserve, although the watch doesn't carry the scratch resistance of the Sinn. And it doesn't have, you know, the awesome loom of the Seiko. I think it's a little bit more well-rounded all the way around, although it's not super exciting like both the Sinn and the Marine Master can be. But at the same time, I don't think you'll find it fatiguing to wear in the long haul here, in the long run, which is definitely something to consider. So at the end of the day, I think the Tudor is the most logical. You know, you can take it off the bracelet, you can put it on the fabric strap, you can put it on a Zealand or a rubber bee. You could really play with the look, I think, to a greater degree than you could with the Seiko Marine Master 300 or a Sinn U50. And so I would say, logically speaking, Lance, you should probably go with the Black Bay 58. It is only $600 more than the Marine Master, $700 more than the Sinn U50. And horologically speaking, I think it's a noticeably a little bit nicer watch than the other two. And don't come at me, guys. I know some of you are team Marine Master 300 or you're a diehard Sinn fan. That's totally fine. I do love those watches. At the end of the day, Lance, you should do whatever you feel like you would enjoy the most. The right answer for you is an awesome Japanese-made, watch with a crown at the 4 o'clock position, the amazing loom, the amazing handset. You should go with the Marine Master 300. If you're very casual, if you never dress up, if you're very active and you do a lot of sport activities, the Sinn might be the best one for you. Maybe the Tudor's the best one for you. Again, at the end of the day, buy what you feel you would enjoy the most and try to tune out the outside noise. These have just been my impressions, my opinions, my experiences. Hopefully you found them helpful, Lance. And guys, please again, put your experiences and your opinions in the comment section. Thank you for watching today. I hope you have a great day, and see you next time.